Hello students, welcome to Unorthodox Learning YouTube channel, and today I'll explain one more poem to you, that is The Cold Within. The Cold Within by James Patrick Kinney. The Cold Within is a poem written by this American poet James Kinney, and he had pointed comment on the lack of warmth and compassion in human relations. So in this poem there are 6 different people who are trapped by happenstance. Trapped means who are caught against their wish by happenstance. Happenstance means chance. So 6 humans, that means 6 different people trapped by happenstance. Trapped means something by which one is caught against his wish, or by happenstance means by chance. So 6 humans, 6 different people are trapped by chance in bleak and bitter cold. Bleak and bitter defines the extreme cold weather. Bleak and bitter cold defines the extreme cold weather, and in this line alliteration is used because the sound of letter B is repeated in this line. So 6 different people by chance, they have been caught in bleak and bitter cold. These 2 words, these 2 adjectives defines cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story is told. Each one possessed a stick of wood. They all possess their own stick or stick of wood. They need logs to renew the dying fire to prevent themselves from cold. Means before them there was dying fire which was about to blow out. And what was the need of that dying fire? The stick which was there, which each one of them possessed. Means all the 6 persons who were trapped by a chance in bleak and bitter cold at the same place, they were possessing, each one of them possessing a stick of wood, and before them was the dying fire. And here fire symbolizes common good. So they were, before them was dying fire, and to prevent that fire from dying, and to prevent that dying fire, they needed that log of wood to put into that fire, so that the fire should keep on burning, continue burning, and give them warmth. Or so the story is told, means it is a story which has immense significance and therefore is told on to future generations. Bleak means unpleasant. Black. Next is let us come to the next stanza. Their dying fire in need of logs, but the first one held hers back, for of the faces round the fire she noticed one was black. So black belonging to a race of people who have dark skin. Their dying fire in need of logs. This line is associated with the theme lack of warmth in human relation. This means the fire which was before them, which was dying, it needed logs of wood which each one of them possessed. But the first one held hers back. With this line we come to know that the first person is a female, is a lady, because hers is used. So the first one did not put her log of wood into that fire. Why? Because when she saw round the fire, when she saw the faces sitting round the fire, among them she saw that one was black, one belonged to black people, race of people who have dark skin. This suggests us that the first one who was greatly suffered from the feeling of racial discrimination. She thought that by doing so the life of the black would be saved. So the racial prejudice made her so stern that mercy could not touch her heart, and she did not put her log of wood into that dying fire. Next stanza. The next man looked across the way, saw one knot of his church, and could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. Birch, a type of tree, that has outer bark which can be pulled off easily. And cross here means across. Apostrophe is there, A is omitted. Cross here means across. Now the next man looking across the way. When he looked across, he saw one knot of his church. That means he gave importance to his own religion. This very man, the second man, was suffering from religious intolerance. He gave importance to those who belong to his own religion. Here church symbolizes that his religion. Okay. As in India, we discriminate on the basis of caste, creed, religion. In West, people discriminate on the basis of which particular creed of Christianity one follows. So he saw one knot of his church, one not belonging to his own religion. So the feeling of love, peace and brotherhood were nothing to him. He only wanted to help those who belong to his own religion. That is why the second one also did not put his log into that dying fire, because he suffered from religious intolerance. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? The third one sat in tattered clothes. Tattered clothes refer to the torn clothes. Tattered means torn clothes. Hitch means pull up or fasten tightly. So, this expression tattered clothes symbolizes that the man who was wearing them was poor and had little money to cover himself in extreme cold. So the third one sat in tattered clothes. These tattered clothes symbolize that the third one is a poor person. He gave his coat a hitch. Hitch means he fastened his coat in an expression that why should I give whatever little I have? Why should I give whatever little I have to those who have more than myself? So why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? By giving a hitch to his tattered coat, he showed his tightness against the rich man. He considered rich an idle fellow, enjoying the fruit of hard labor done by poor. He thought it is unjust to give what little he had to help others who had more than him. That is why he did not give his log of wood to that dying fire, because he did not want to help idle rich. He believed that the rich are lazy people, they are idle, they enjoy the fruit of the hard work done by poor. Next is, the rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. Now the rich man, on the other hand, thinks of the wealth he has in store and how to keep it safe from the poor man. He seemed to be worried about his wealth, which he had at that time in store. He wanted to secure his wealth from the poor, whom he considered dishonest and idle fellow. Poor man is lazy and therefore lives in poverty. This was the thinking of this rich man. That is why when he saw the poor man is sitting in tattered clothes, he thought he is poor just because he is lazy and he did not want to do anything. Shiftless. Shiftless means lacking ambition and energy. Coming to the next stanza, the black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. Bespoke means showed signs of. Bespoke revenge means showed signs of revenge. Revenge means to inflict injury in return, to give injury to someone in return of something, to take revenge. Spite. Spite means to take revenge, a desire to harm another person, especially because you feel that you have been treated wrongly. So spite means to take revenge, to a desire of harming another person. Now this stanza tells us that the black man had experienced racism. He was full of hatred for the white people As he saw white people, the signs of revenge were clearly visible at his face. So the black man's face looks revengeful, and the only thing visible to him in his stick is a chance to harm the white man. What he was thinking when he saw the dying fire, he saw his stick of wood, and what did he see in his stick of wood? He saw an opportunity to take revenge from the white by not putting his log of wood into that fire, dying fire, so that the white should not get the warmth of that fire and he will die. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving only to those who gave was how he played the game. Forlorn group. Forlorn means lonely, sad, dejected. Group means consisting of more than one person. When there are more than one person, then how can they be lonely? So in this line, in this very phrase forlorn group, what is used? Oxymoron is used. Oxymoron, when two words having contradictory meaning are used together, are known as oxymoron. So this literary device is oxymoron. Forlorn is lonely, group is number of people. So a large, more than one person is there in group. So when these two words which are used, which are contradictory in meaning, which are used together, they form oxymoron. That is a literary device. Now the last man. Here nought means nothing. The last man of this lonely group does nothing except something for his own benefits. He was guided by his own selfishness. He gives only to those who give him something back in return. So the selfish game of give and take is described here. He gave only to those who gave something back in return. So this very last man is a selfish person. He did nothing except something for his benefit. So the selfish game of give and take is described in this last line of this stanza. Their logs held tight in death's still hands. Death's still hands. In this line, in this phrase, personification is used. How? Death is not a human being having human features or feelings. So here it is written death still hands. Death does not have the hands. Hands only the human beings or living organisms have. So here in this line personification is used because death is personified. Was proof of human sin. The human sin of not staying together. Which human sin is described here? The human sin of not staying together or helping each other, which invited their death, is described here. So their logs held tight in death's still hands means they all died because of the cold weather, because the fire before them died in the need of log of wood which each one of them possessed, but they did not put their stick into that dying fire because they all were suffering with one or the other discrimination. So they all died, and the human sin of not staying together or helping each other invited their death. They did not die from the cold without, they died from the cold within. Their logs being held tight in their hands invite death. It is nothing but a proof of human sin. The poem ends with the note that these 6 people die from the freezing cold outside, but of the die not from the freezing cold outside but of the cold within them. What is that cold within them? Lack of warmth in human relations. The cold within them is lack of warmth in human relations. That is why they died. They nourished the feeling of racism, envy, arrogance, revenge, selfishness, greed in them, which was the cause of their death. So I have already told you the poetic devices which are used in this poem. The two different themes of this poem are futility of discrimination. Futility of discrimination. Futility means uselessness or pointlessness of discrimination or hatred that humans have against one another. This poem tells us that the discrimination or hatred which humans have against one another is pointless or useless. Next theme is lack of warmth in human relation. It is sad that these people are overtaken by the feeling of revenge. They did not help each other. They did not show any warmth and compassion for each other, and that is why they died. So their differences surpass their survival instinct. The lack of warmth is best expressed in the line, "Their dying fire in need of logs." This line, which is the first line of the second stanza, this describes the expression of lack of warmth in the heart of these 6 people. The title is very appropriate because title is symbolic of lack of warmth and compassion in human beings. Thank you.